Welcome to the EmpowHer Moments Morning Show, where we create intentional mindset shifts, empower women to embrace their potential, and open their hearts to their deepest desires. Join Margot, the beauty guru, your self-love and business strategist, and Dr. Alicia A. Williams, your transformation and empowerment coach. These dynamic women are here to guide you, inspire you, and uplift you. Together, they'll help you unleash your potential and own your journey. It's time to step into your greatness. Let's get started.
Have you ever felt like you couldn't celebrate your small accomplishments because you were too focused on the big goal?
Yes.
Let's talk about it, girl.
Yes, Dr. Alicia, yes. Oh, yes, honey, listen, we need to talk about this.
Come on with
because
it.
And of course, I'm not by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure like a lot of people do this.
Mm-hmm.
We work so hard for the big fish.
Right.
And we don't celebrate the small ones.
Right. We forget about the in-between, what it took us to get there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I used to do that.
Uh-huh.
I no longer do it because I understand the importance of celebrating everything.
Everything.
All the wins, even the little things. And I encourage the people around me to do the same. I celebrate the small wins because when you don't celebrate the small wins, you really don't sit in the moment.
That's right.
You don't sit with yourself as you're growing and developing. You're pushing past all of the stuff that you should acknowledge for the big fish. So this is going to be a great conversation. I'm excited.
It is. One of the things that I've learned when it talks about celebrating small wins is that we always go for the monumental thing.
That's true.
And I've chosen to stop doing that.
Good.
Because let me tell you something. Every day that the Lord gives me breath in my body, that's a win for me because he's given me another opportunity to make it happen. Yes. So for me, I'm celebrating the day.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And listen, this topic is going to be great because we all have dealt with this in some space of time. We're just not celebrating the small things that I've learned. And let's be clear, life is short.
It is.
Life is real short.
It is.
And so at the end of the day, we want to, we want the big things. We want the big goals. We want to open up these big businesses and establishments. We want to, this big old house. We want all the other things. But what about those times when you're up at night and you're working on those projects, getting you getting you conditioned for the big things? You have to celebrate those accomplishments.
Most definitely. One of the things that stands out to me when we talk about celebrating things is we often hear people, when I hit 50, I'm going to do this. No, what about what you're going to do at 46?
Let's talk about
Let's talk about what you're doing at 46 and why you should celebrate where you are today.
How do you know you're going to be here when you turn 50?
That's what I said.
That's another thing.
That's what I just said.
And that's all about like being intentional about the things that you're doing. Why put off something for tomorrow that you can do today?
Right, and because the next day is not promised to us. So what is it that we can celebrate today? What is it that you can celebrate today? What you may have accomplished yesterday?
So right now, Dr. Alicia, honey, I'm at a space in my life, honey, I celebrate all the things.
All the things.
No matter what it is, honey. I celebrated with some crab legs. I celebrated going to a restaurant, honey. I celebrated, honey, calling my girlfriend, honey. Let's yell and scream and holler. Like, you have to understand, because what I realized is I was really in a space and I just was working for the next big thing. But what happened is you position yourself to be in a rat race.
Exactly.
And you're just working for this big thing. And then what happens when you get the big thing, it's like,
okay,
that was nice. Okay, now I need to go ahead and look for the next big thing to do. So the thing is, what we're having this conversation for, ladies, is to talk to you all about slowing down.
Slow down. What you rushing for? Because I don't think they're ready for the conversation today.
Yes.
Your tea hot. My coffee still got a little warm
listen, honey, my lavender tea is piping. This is so good. And I think we're going to give some great information, some great tips, because we're going to start celebrating everything, ladies. Everything.
We talked about that at the top of the year. This is the year where we celebrate it all.
Yes. Yes, we have to celebrate it all. And so we're going to talk about things that you can do in the process of celebrating those small wins. Because again, when you don't celebrate those wins, you don't know where you're going and you have no way to gauge how far you've come, right? So a lot of times what I do, Dr. Alicia, I journal a lot. I journal about certain things that I have going on. I also journal about my goals and what it is that I want to happen next. And what's so rewarding with doing that is Typically I'll go like 6 months to a year, and I'll go back and read it.
Go back and read
when
it.
I read it, like even when I had when I was in the spa industry, I had found an old journal, and I had wrote some things in it. I was just starting it out. You know, I probably had about like 10, 15 clients. And listen, at the time, I was like, God, if you can give me, if I could get 80 clients a month, like this will be amazing. And I'm just writing down my goals and what I want God to manifest and do for me in my life. So I'm writing these things down. And time go on, and it's a year later, and I go back and read it when I'm servicing 300 plus women, and I'm saying, wow. And so only for 80, a year ago, 80 was like mind blowing for me, right? But because I journal and I was intentional about paying attention to the small wins and the gradual things that I wanted to manifest in my life, man, when I went back and read it, I was super like excited because I'm like, damn, like a year later, you know, and it probably wasn't like a year later, probably about like 2 years later, but still, I only wanted 80.
You only wanted, but God said, nah, we're going bigger.
We're going to multiply that thing.
We're going to multiply.
Yes, and so that's why it's so important to celebrate those small wins and to journal or find a way to keep track of your motivation, your momentum and your elevation.
So this is something that I learned or was encouraged by another business partner of mine.
Okay.
A few years ago was to take a jar. Like a mason jar.
Okay.
And every time something great would happen, whether it be you accomplishing a small goal or something that's leading to the bigger, would be to write it down on just a scratch sheet of paper and put it in that jar.
That's neat.
And you would do that from January the 1st up until December the 31st. And on January the 1st of the new year, you will take it out and start going through what you have accomplished throughout the year. So it wasn't just this one big thing that happened. Every little small, we don't want to say small, but every win was a win.
That's right.
And we're so accustomed, we're going to go for the win, we're going to go for the W, but all those efforts and the little things that led up to that, they were wins. Yes. We're just so accustomed to saying the big thing and not the small things that it took to get us there.
Yes, and too, what I realized, I'm in a season where things are like elevating and evolving in my life as well. And what I realized sometimes when I take those moments and really sit in those small wins, I'm so grateful.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I'm so grateful.
It reminds you of your start. It humbles you. And just be like, wow, God, I see you.
It humbles you. So I encourage you all, sit in those wins. Like it's times where I'll sit with myself in the morning doing my meditation and prayer time and just think of the little things that are happening, moving to whatever big thing I'm working towards. And I have learned in this season to be grateful and be thankful for the little things. Be grateful for it.
I agree. I totally agree. Let's shift gears just a little bit. So we're talking about the small wins. Small wins could be in your relationship, professionally and personally. As a parent, you know, let's talk about, we both have children, right?
Yes.
We get so caught up in the big things with our children sometimes. So I'm just going to use my son that's a freshman in college. Lord, he's going to be like, Mom, no one told you to put me out there or whatever. But he's the middle boy, but he's the oldest son. However, you know, I've experienced some things and we've experienced some things in his first semester in college, and it was eye-opening to him. But to see him return his second semester, just
breathe. It's okay.
The moments that when you think they're not paying attention to, they are.
They are. You're right.
So the other day, about a week ago, I received a message that touched my heart as a parent to say that, you know what, that's a win for us as parents, that what we said did not go on deaf ears.
That's right. That's right.
It did not go on deaf ears. Excuse me, y'all. I'm not trying to lose my lashes today.
Listen, I got you, girl. You ain't going to lose no lashes.
We're talking about being vulnerable, being honest, and being transparent, but I want to talk about what it looks like from a parent standpoint when it's a win with your children.
Yes.
Because it's not, let me tell you something, parenting is not for the faint of heart.
It's not.
And every day.
It's not for the weak.
It's not for the weak. But every day is a good day. I always make a choice for every day to be a good day, but to see something that we hadn't saw and to see it happen the second time around, it meant the world to me.
Right.
And that was a win for me as a parent to say, you are doing your best.
That's right.
Even when you think you're not doing your best.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry, y'all, the tears are flowing. But that I want to talk from that standpoint as a
Dr.
parent.
Alicia, the thing is, this is what we do it for.
Mm-hmm.
We do it for moments where we can encourage our children.
That's right.
We
That's
do
right.
it for moments where we realize that, you know what? I didn't have a handbook.
Yeah, there is no handbook.
There's no handbook, ladies. Gentlemen, there's no handbook with raising our children. And at the end of the day, you know, those, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Dr. Alicia, because the thing is, the small wins that we're talking about is everything vastly that goes on in your life. We're not talking about your business. We're not talking about, you know, whether or not you get ready to close your first big deal. We're talking about all the things that we naturally deal with in life. They're small wins. And so to your point, Dr. Alicia, even with talking about your son, listen, boys aren't easy. They're not easy, okay? Yeah. And the things that they have to go through in life when you release them into the world.
Right. And let me say this to add to that, don't mean to cut you off, is that, you know, nothing happened wrong, but as a parent, sometimes you don't know how to always help your children. And sometimes you have to let them navigate this life, this thing called life, on their own and figure it out. But you guide them the best way that you can by giving them the best advice. And you know, you kind of take your hands off a little bit and say, you know what, he got this because I serve a God that has him.
Yeah. And not only that, Dr. Alicia, you and your husband have poured into him.
Constantly poured into, you know, we pour into all of our children.
Because that's the things that parents don't really think about. We lose sight of the things that we've poured into our children.
Exactly.
We forget the things that we've taught them.
Exactly.
And like I tell my kids all the time, the one thing about me, I'm not a hard parent, but my thing is, it's important to me that my children understand life.
Exactly.
Because I'm not going to be here all the time.
That's right. That's right.
You know, I'm not going to always be here to have your back. But when it comes to our children, Dr. Alicia, we have to let our hands off sometimes and let them navigate. Now, the thing is, you have the net.
Right.
I ain't going to let you hit the ground. Now, you might slide off the building. You might do the, but you won't hit the ground. You know, but you have to give them that experience in life to give them an opportunity to grow. And back to our last segment, you have to give them that permission to be confident.
Exactly.
And to learn how to navigate adversity in life.
Exactly. And when that win happened not only was that a win for us as a parent, but that was a win for him because he showed, you know, he showed a whole different side that we hadn't seen in quite some time. And so to see that, only we know what that is.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to touch on the point. It's not always just about business and other things. There are wins in life that we often overlook and that we should celebrate because it's just what it is. It's a win.
It's a win.
It's a win.
And that's great that you and your family even have that space to cultivate it. Because I know for us, you know, me and my family, we do have that. We have that text thread. I'm sure hundreds of you all, thousands, millions of you all have that family text thread. And we encourage our children to put them things in. Listen, our kids, you know, it was even sometime my middle son, he was dealing with some stuff, and he put it in the family. I need y'all to pray with me.
Come on.
And honey, when I say the prayers went to going on in the family chat, prayer, and listen, guys, everything we prayed for has manifested. God has blessed him and gave him his heart desire. So you have to celebrate those things when it comes to your family, even when it comes to your marriage, those small things that you guys are, because let's be clear, Dr. Alicia, her and her husband been married for a long time, y'all. They've been married for a long time. Me and Tonio, we've been married a little over 10 years, honey, but
20 years.
20 years, okay? So imagine being in a marriage 20 years and things happen in the marriage and, you know, y'all, how much y'all have grown. And you guys are nowhere near the same people you are were 20 years ago.
Not.
So even in that space, guys, it was so much growing, so many small wins. And even as you all continue to elevate in business as parents, you know, as individuals, those are small wins that must be celebrated.
But what I love about it is that we're winning together.
Yes.
Those wins that we experience, we're winning together.
Yes. And that's what it's about. Because at the end of the day, how we said a win is a win. That's it. No matter how big or small. So let's talk about, I want to talk to the people who really just don't see value in the small wins, right? Or you never really just thought of it like that. Or said, you know what, I have been doing this. Because I know it's been times where I have sat and talked to some amazing people. And when I hear the things that they're doing, I'm like, what? Like,
And they're downplaying it like, no big deal.
No one knows about you. Like, why you ain't said nothing to nobody?
Exactly.
Like, you know. And so the thing is that we're having this conversation, guys, because it's so important. It's so important that we encourage each other. Not only just encourage ourselves, encourage other people who are in the space of that winning season. And no matter how small it is, you know, one thing about me, I'm going to find me a reason to celebrate. Today is the day. But I'm going to find me a reason to celebrate tonight and have me a good meal or something like that.
My glass of wine, for sure.
And I suggest you do the same. Those small wins lead to big victories.
They do.
Don't overlook them.
They do.
Don't overlook your children's accomplishments. Don't overlook your husband's promotion. Don't overlook the elevation of your business. Don't overlook that God has given you a tribe who's there to support you and love on you and help you elevate. Listen, celebrate the small wins. If I could tell you nothing else.
I 100% agree. Don't overlook the in-between.
Yes.
The in-between times. We get so caught up in what happened in the beginning, then we go straight to the end goal.
Right.
But it's the in-between that matters.
It is. And I think that's the part that we miss. I think that's the part that we miss because, and it's funny because I was at an event not too long ago and they were talking about peaks of the mountain, right? And how you could be on one peak and you want to get to that other peak because that's the elevation. That's what you're asking God for, right? But people don't really consider that it's a valley.
Yeah.
In between, which is that wilderness. It's a space in between that don't nobody talk about.
Right.
And it's a steady flow of water that happens in that wilderness, but you got to go through the wilderness to get to that next level. And so that's the part that a lot of people don't talk about.
Right.
But we're talking to you all today about celebrating even when you're in the wilderness, even that in-between space, you still have to celebrate those wins. Because guess what? You're traveling on to that next level.
Right.
You got to understand that. But if you don't celebrate those small wins and the things that are happening in between, when you get to that next space, you're going to be unfulfilled. And you're going to be feeling like, what's next?
What's next? Right.
It's supposed to sit in it.
Exactly. We don't sit in it enough. We're trying to hurry up and get to this peak, this mountaintop, and forgot that we've got to celebrate even being in the valley.
Being in the valley, huh? You got to celebrate being in the valley. And so, you know, the thing is that everything in life should be celebrated. And that's the point of it all, guys. Like, the things that we do, don't take it lightly. Don't take it for granted because life is short. Tomorrow's not promised. But when you are achieving things and you're doing things, when you see your family sowing and growing, when you see that business growing, when you see that elevation, when you see your income growing, celebrate those wins. It's important.
I 100% agree. I look at, I do a lot of reflection and I look back at where I've started. And sometimes I'd be like, God, you did that, you know? So, you know, when you hear the saying, you know, God will put you in places and spaces that you could only imagine or ever dream of. I think back, I always think over my journey of where I've started to where I am today. And these are some of the things that I've prayed for. But in order for me to get there, I had to pretty much celebrate every win along the way and say, keep going. Because if he brought you here, he will take you there.
Right.
And so I had to celebrate. I'm throwing my own little party of one.
That's
Party of one celebration going on, regardless if anyone else was celebrating me during those times.
But you know what? This is the thing. I don't dwell in spaces that I'm not celebrating. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at now in my life. Like the people who I love, my tribe, the people I spend the most time with, celebrations, honey, is just the thing of the day.
It's the thing. It's a big thing.
It's the thing of the day because the thing is, if I'm not celebrating you, you're not celebrating me, what are we doing? There are sometimes you're going to have those solo celebrations because I have them in my car all the time.
Right.
Turn up me, okay? But what you got to understand is your surroundings play a part in as well.
They do.
And you celebrating and feeling happy about celebrating, right? It's important. So if I can't tell y'all nothing else, who you surround yourself with, your support group, your tribe is very essential to you celebrating the small and the big wins.
Right. And let's go back to what we often say is, don't apologize for those celebrations. Here she go again.
Right.
She's celebrating something, and I'm going to keep celebrating. As long as I've got breath in my body, as long as you have breath in your body, everything that God has blessed you with and continues to bless you with, celebrate it.
That's right.
Celebrate it.
And guess what, guys? I don't care who don't want to see it. I
Come
don't
on.
care who acting like who
I'm giving our shades.
Give them shades, baby, and let that light shine bright. Because it's just important. Be you and be unapologetically you. But if I can't tell you nothing else, celebrate, because that's what we do it for. We make those accomplishments. Celebrate your children when they're doing amazing things. Celebrate your wife, your husband, when you see they're doing things, because it's a confidence booster, but it also helps that person keep going. It helps them go for the ride. It helps them to continue on their journey.
Celebrate your friends.
Yes.
Celebrate your friends. I heard a young lady say, and this is a true story, and she said, I celebrate myself because no one else celebrates me.
Oh.
And that did something to me. And I said,
that's heartbreaking.
The first thing I said, who is your tribe?
Yeah.
But the question is, does she even have a tribe? See, we can look at that from two different perspectives.
Absolutely.
So I commend her to say, you know what, I'm going to celebrate me with or without anyone else.
I love that. I love that. And so, you know what, ladies, I hope you all enjoyed this conversation. This was an amazing, amazing conversation. Remember, celebrate the wins, small and large. But those small wins, make sure you be intentional, okay? And if you are still struggling in that space and you would like to book a coaching call with Dr. Alicia and I, we are here for you, okay? So go to our website, EmpowHerMoments.com, okay? Because we're here to help you celebrate all the wins, okay? And so thank you so much for joining us on the Empower Her Moments Morning Show, okay? This episode is powered by Platinum Luxury Fleet, okay? The ultimate transportation experience. Book your black car service today by visiting PlatinumLuxuryFleet.com. And remember, Platinum Luxury Fleet is global transportation. And until next time, keep shining, stay empowered, and know that you are capable of some amazing things, okay? So see you all next time.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a great day.